So Kenny and I were talking about earlier the roster turnover and continuity, and we glanced over it for a second, but I want to go back to it for a minute because you just don't see a completely rebuilt team in any sport, even in this day and age of the wild, wild west of the free agency of college athletics. Like, you just don't see it. Like, I was talking earlier about, remember a couple years ago, SMU got like 36 transfers or something like that. Yes, that's football. Yes, that's a lot of transfers, but that's still only, right around 45, 50% of your roster turning over?
This is 14 to 15.
This is 14 to 15, whatever percentage that is.
Unless DeAndre Williams and Malcolm get back in.
I did the math after we got done with our podcast. It's 93.33333%.
You could have left out one more three. I mean, you could have put three repeating,
Three
They put the little line over top of it, yeah.
So 93% roster turnover, as you mentioned. If DeAndre comes back, that bumps down a little bit, and if Malcolm comes back as well, that bumps down a little bit. But just for as it sits, that is absurd to think about, that this whole team that the city watched and really fell in love with and latched onto last season is gone.
I've never seen Penny Hardaway and Deion Sanders in the same room. Have you?
No, I haven't.
I'm just telling you.
I have not.
They're doing this roster turnover is really like. I today on the show I was talking about it because I know people get really pissed off sometimes about, like, if you say something that could be perceived as bad about Penny Hardaway in the program. But I preface it by saying, like, I understand that college basketball, it's hard to keep continuity. It's hard to, with, NIL, transfer portal opportunities, everything else, guys going to the NBA. It's just hard for continuity. But then I followed it up by saying, damn, this is like 14 of 15, 12 of 13 scholarship players are gone from a year ago. That's insane.
Is it a concern?
It's ridiculous.
Is it a concern though? That's where I
mean, the way he's rebuilt it, no. Like, I think you
think with bringing veterans in,
you let some out, some came back in. You have some freshmen that are like, he's trying to mix and match. I don't think it's like the concern would come as if he ran off all of them and they all hated him.
Yeah,
like that would be the concern, and I don't think that's the case at all.
No, I don't either, and it doesn't. Like, as much as you would think it should worry you on paper, seeing a full new team, it really doesn't bother me that much because, as you mentioned, with all the veterans on this team, guys that have played collegiate basketball, guys that knew the situation that they were coming into, even if it wasn't only one holdover, there was all new players on this roster anyway for the most part. Yeah. So you know what you're getting into. You have June, July, August.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
You got 5 months, really.
And here's the other thing that why you I'm not overly worried, and I never was, is because, like, you looked at the team last year, like, most of them were either they didn't have eligibility left or,
Yeah, we knew
one
this was
thing
coming.
or another. Like, it is what it is. Like, most of them didn't have eligibility left. So
and you look at
you didn't really count on them you knew they were rentals.
Yeah, and if you look at the team from last year, it's not. I mean, the major contributors on that team, for the most part, were new guys. Or 3, 4 of the guys that came.
I think we went into this offseason knowing there was going to be a lot of turnover because Demario Franklin and Keontae and DeAndre and Kendrick and McCadden and like you just keep going down the list. There was a bunch of dudes who were exhausting eligibility.
Right, but those dudes came in last year. And they meshed just fine. And Memphis had their best season under Penny Hardaway.
And I'd argue some of them are like less talented than some of the pieces that came in this year.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you look at, if you compare Jonathan Pierre and David Jones to Keontae and Elijah, like,
I'm giving this year's class
a
nod.
Absolutely. But they made it work. They made it happen. And a lot of that's on the players, but also a lot of that's on the staff. So I just don't think it'll be an issue. I think you got, like I said, 5 months to practice together. People go, that's not enough time. When you practice together every day, and basketball, I think that's plenty of time to fit. Now, could we see that ceiling raised throughout the season because they're playing actual games together?
Absolutely.
That should be the expectation.
Yes.
You shouldn't start at game 1 and at game 30 be around the same mark. No, they should be better and they should improve. So, yes, I think we will see the natural progression of them actually playing basketball games together. but I think they'll be fine. I don't think we have to worry about this team meshing and gelling.